Alright, now we fast forward to 2006, and Oblivion has now arrived. Now, the main game is set within Cyrodiil, and it's 6 years later after the events of Morrowind. Now, Oblivion introduces more voice dialogue, while Morrowind relied heavily on text based dialogue, so there was a lot of reading on Morrowind. And the skills have been toned down again. Oblivion only has 21 skills now. Also, shops now closed for the night, while in Morrowind, they were actually open 24/7. Also, stolen items will now have the red hand icon over them to indicate that they're stolen or when you're picking up something that belongs to another NPC. I forgot to mention that, or I can't remember if I talked about that in the earlier discussion of Morrowind. Now, stealing in Morrowind was it was hard to keep track of what you could steal. Or, for instance, say you would steal a diamond from someone, but then you would find another diamond through legal means. Well, here's the thing. Uh, the two would actually stack on top of each other. It would get grouped, and you didn't know which was the stolen one and which one was the legal one. Well, here in Oblivion, that's when they started making it easier. And also in Skyrim. Um, okay. And now, medium armor has been removed. In Morrowind days, it went light, medium, and heavy. When Oblivion came around, they just did away with medium because there was really no reason to have it, honestly, in my opinion. Um, and horses are unlocked for faster travel, and each had a different set of stats and appearance, which, of course, so many people have played Oblivion. So, they had different speed, different health, or they might have been faster. And houses are now purchasable in the eight major cities, of course, through a quest line to obtain them. And quest items are no longer sellable, helping to actually prevent accidental lost and incompletable quests because that was a thing on Morrowind that if you had a quest item, you could accidentally sell it and lose it, and then you go to a quest NPC to turn it in, and then they say, well, you don't have the item, I suggest you go and get it or whatnot. And then if you don't remember who you sold it to or where you left it, you were in big trouble. So in later games, they did make it to where quest items, you could not drop them and you could not sell them. So that was a very good thing that they added that. Okay, now factions. The returning factions are the Fighters Guild, the Mages Guild, and the Thieves Guild. The Dark Brotherhood makes an appearance, and now they are joinable. Hail Sithis. um, Players are now able to fight in the arena, which I believe this pays a homage to the very first Elder Scrolls Arena game. I think that's where they came up with this concept. The Blades also make a return in the main quest again. Enchanting and alchemy returns, but you must use the Altar of Enchanting at the Mages Guild in the Imperial City, or use the Sigil Stones from the closed Oblivion Gates by using it as a soul gem, like it was previously in Morrowind, how you pick it up and then you drop it onto your player and it opens up the enchanting menu. Fast traveling is added, removing the need to use quick travel services like it was in Morrowind, how I talked about the stilt striders and the boats. Quest markers are now displayed on the map whenever a quest is active, making it easier to find quest related NPCs and items. On Morrowind, that was not a thing. This was really a big improvement. The quest tracking in your journal is way more user friendly and sorted. While in Morrowind, it was a nightmare and hard to keep track of quest stages because it was all just jumbled together in this one big journal book, and you had to flip through so many pages to find the quest that you were specifically looking for. While in newer games, you would just pull up your journal or your quest log and then just select the whatever quest that's displayed. How you had the right side of the hub and the left side of the hub on Oblivion and Skyrim. So, like I said, I'm going to be making several references to past games and future games. And also, I forgot to say this, of course, ahead of time. Uh, Spoilers for everything that I'm recording on this. Um, Also, here we go. Owned items are now displayable. When I mean that, I mean that it makes it easier to know what is safe to pick up and what is considered stealing. Whenever you're playing the game and the text will be completely highlighted in red, and you'll see that red hand and it says steal. Now, in Morrowind, like I said, stealing in Morrowind, you did not have that option. You did not know what you could pick up safely and what would be constituted as stealing. You didn't know if the item was owned or not. So, yeah, it was Morrowind. Morrowind, in its own regard, it was a great game. It was, but I would say Morrowind, probably out of Oblivion and Skyrim, was probably I don't know if I want to say the hardest, but to me, because it was the very first one I played, to me, Morrowind was the hardest. It wasn't as user friendly as the Elder Scrolls games are now. Now, followers get added in Oblivion, to aid players in combat, while in Morrowind, you would have quest followers. But here's the thing: if you teleported using any of the means I told you in the previous recording about Morrowind, that they would remain where they were. The follower would not teleport with you whenever you would fast travel, or what, like it is now in Oblivion and Skyrim. How you drop down in the map and then boom, you see your follower catching up to you. Yeah, no, they did not do that in Morrowind. Alright, and then with Oblivion, the very first DLC that we get is the Knights of the Nine, which has the faction of the same name, and it comes with its own quest line and various elements. I didn't care so much for the Knights of the Nine. I kind of found it boring. Me personally, I found it boring. I loved their armor. I did. I loved the Knights of the Nine armor. I thought it was beautiful. But in terms of the quest line, I just thought it was kind of slow and boring. Now, the second DLC, The Shivering Isles. Now, this one I absolutely loved. How it adds the faction, the Court of Madness, which serves the Daedric Lord Sheogorath, and of course adds its own quest line. And how you have the saints and the sinners. I was in love with their armor in the game. I just thought it was so beautiful. How you've got one that's all decked out in gold, and then you got the other faction that's all decked out in the more scary black armor. Because it kind of also had an elven feel to it for me, but yeah, Oblivion. I know a lot of people were you had some that were happy with Oblivion being remastered, others that weren't happy, and then I'm actually going to stop it right here just for a second because I'm getting onto the Oblivion remastered. So, because I said I'm actually gonna talk about Oblivion remastered last, since that's the new. Technically, it's not a new game, but that's the last release. So, Moving on.